Let me tell you a little bit about the big story, the big picture. Of course, Chinta is deeply invested in mathematical Olympiad training, ISI, CMI entrances, physics, informatics Olympiads, and at a higher level, we are interested in mathematical research. And that is the end goal. So when we teach a student for mathematical Olympiads, in our minds at least, we are building future researchers. Maybe some of these kids will work in one of our own research projects. In fact, within a few days, you will see the final announcement of the Bose Olympiad for 2022. We have 10 to 12 finalists who have posted beautiful research projects. This is perhaps the only Olympiad in the world at the moment for school students which accepts research projects and, of course, clever Olympiad level problem solving. So to know more about Bose Olympiad, you can check the link in the description. And also check out the research project exhibition that we are going to make in this channel few days from now. Students from middle school, from high school, from universities have participated in it. And of course there are different levels. We think the future of education is research. So when we train a child for computer science Olympiad or math Olympiad or physics Olympiad, we are trying to ignite that curiosity. So after all, they will solve clever problems in the Olympiad level and then use that problem solving skill in research problems. Okay, so I'll give you one example. Let's think about the Pythagorean theorem. In a plain sheet of paper, that is R2, R by R, you can use the Pythagorean theorem, that is, sum of the squares on two sides of a triangle is equal to the square on the hypotenuse. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to describe the length of a segment of a hypotenuse. It's a measurement of distance. Sometimes we think that in a plain sheet of paper, we should always measure distance using the Pythagorean theorem. We think that the notion of distance is glued to the notion of space. It's a philosophical point. Think about it. In our mind, we think that the notion of measurement of distance, the method of measurement of distance, is the same, is embedded in the notion of space itself. And it took human beings thousands of years to understand that these are not the same concepts. In fact, Bernhard Riemann, a very, very famous German mathematician, in his defense of his doctoral thesis, the PhD thesis, he in fact started by saying something like this, that these are not the same concepts, and then he went on to show how we can sort of segregate the two concepts. So there are other ways of measuring distances on the plain sheet of paper, and one of the ways I sometimes discuss this in a fun geometry module of Mathematical Olympiad program is the taxi cab method. So what you do is, if you want to go from here to here, you don't go straight, you go along the grid lines. You go like this and then you go up. You go like this and then you go up. So you don't go straight in that sense. In fact, when we apply that particular distance function, this is not even the straightness. This is not even a way of doing it. All the ways of moving are like this. Imagine you are in a big city and you want to go from point A to point B, but you cannot go directly because there are a lot of buildings coming in between. So you have to go along the straight road, take a turn and then go, right? So if you change the distance function, if you do not use Pythagorean distance function anymore, if you change it to this taxicab distance function, your circles will look different. Your ellipses will look different. In fact, can any one of you in the comment section tell me how the circle will look like if you change the distance, the method of measuring distance like this? Not by the straight ones. If you go like always like this, how will the circle look like in this new sort of plane? So the point I'm driving at is that it takes a lot of creativity and a lot of time for a human being to think about these ideas clearly. Unfortunately, many of the mathematical programs these days are very rushed. They want to just do well in certain exams. Of course, we want that, but we also want to ignite the minds of children so that the next Bernard Riemann comes out of this process. So that's why the different levels of Chinta program has this curiosity component, that you either work with some of your fellow students, these are called math circles, where we solve beautiful problems together, or you work with some students from rural India, that's another type of math circle that we have, or you participate in some research project. It's a holistic experience, and as a parent or a teacher or a student, I think you should be also aiming for that. Mathematical Olympiads or Computer Science Olympiad or Physics Olympiad is just a stepping stone towards solving more interesting and real and complex problems. I have shared the links toward the programs that we have in the description. You can check them out if you want. Nowadays, our rate of admission has gone a little down because we have become more selective. We are, I think it's about 80% now. We are unable to, we have to reject 20% of the applicants who come in. That's not a reflection on their abilities. It's just that if we want to do really good work, we have to work with really interested people. So apply for a Chinta program only if you are really interested in mathematics and want to see the creative and explore the problem solving part of it. Thank you for joining in today, and please think about the research projects as well. We really want kids to think about them and think about solving new problems. Okay, COVID-19 has taught that to us, that we should try to think about how to solve new problems. We must do that. So think about that. Keep an eye for the Bose Olympiad research project exhibitions, and if you are already a Chinta student, try to participate in some internal math circle or some internal research project. It will be a fantastic thing in the long run for you, because even if you're applying for universities abroad or somewhere in India as well, these credentials will add up and get a great application for you. That's there as well. Okay. Alright, take care and keep on solving great mathematics. I will see you in the next video.